Who matters? If this was a question, I would first ask, do you want the honest conversation that begins with the rather obvious premise that everyone should matter? But when I unpack this question in small, intimate circles, talking about life here at Notre Dame, extend the conversation of who matters to the world, I often end up settling in hopelessness of a patriarchal, privileged, often white supremacist structure that seems indestructible and with a desire to smoke something that can induce a blank space. Who matters? If this was a statement, I would first ask, do you want the honest response? Uncomfortable and vulnerable. I would ask, do you mean who matters here at Notre Dame? I write my list, highlight where I sit on it. If you factor in my economic status, right on the poverty line, my race, ebony skin, my academic performance, do you get degrees? My mental health, diagnosed with clinical depression, then I am somewhere at the bottom of this list. And this is with me giving like everything I've got. If you were to write your own list in a Notre Dame context and see where you sit on it, would you question the fairness of this place? Or does it not matter if you stay silent?
I'm Hispanic, queer, and gender fluid. And I have to hide two of those labels because I'm afraid of the discrimination I will face from the Hispanic community that I currently have a place in. I'm afraid that the people I currently consider to be my allies will turn on me because I no longer fill the categories of straight or cis, like most people who are fighting for racial rights. But the real question is, why do I feel this way? My brother was the one who was best able to put it into words. Don't focus on the transgender issue. Race is more important. But is it really? For him, as a hetero cis Hispanic man, race is more important. But for those of us who live at the intersection of these issues, it just isn't. One issue is not above another. That's not how life works. No true equality can be reached unless they are all addressed. Because oppression is oppression, even if you aren't directly involved. I am female. I am marginalized in ways I try to explain to my father and brothers and ex-boyfriends and friends. I am forgotten in ways that men of any and all colors do not know, because between their legs is a security, where between mine is an absence. I am white. I am privileged in ways I cannot even begin to understand. In ways my Black and Asian and Latina friends won't ever experience. Because by chance, I was made in the image and whiteness of conservative America's God, and they are not. I am heteronormative, straight and cisgender.
means I have never, will never, be confused about if it's okay for me to like boys. And if I'm really supposed to have a vagina. And if I wear a dress and makeup, will people get angry and not let me into the bathrooms, but send me back to the same-sex dorm I do not feel comfortable in? Safe in. I am mentally ill. But I can't get angry when people joke about having a week so bad they just want to die. Because who wants to be told that the joke isn't funny when you have to take medicine just to stop from actually cutting your wrist? My closest friends will never know that some days I don't want to ask for help. I just want them to know I need it, even if it's not fair to either of us. My family is middle class, so when I'm at home, I live in a house bigger than most, and my parents always made enough money, I never knew we could use a little more. But when I come to Notre Dame, I am poor. In a privileged society where I work for the money I spend, and I'm on a scholarship. So, I am privileged, and I am marginalized. And my privilege and my marginalization does not add or detract from the experiences of others. I do not need to relate to others based on whether or not I am more or less privileged than they. I choose to relate to others as myself. Because are we not all human? Aren't I enough? We all matter. Both you and me. A middle-class, mentally ill, heteronormative, white female. In no particular order.
I don't know how we do it. Consistently being pushed around, being judged on every little thing that we do. Being followed in stores and being looked over for job positions because of our skin color, not because of our qualifications. Consistently being judged on how we wear our hair, what music we listen to, what TV shows we watch. Honestly, I don't know how black people survive in this society. No, really, I mean, how can we live somewhere where we are always at a disadvantage? How can we live somewhere where we aren't even seen as people? Yeah, stay with me now. I know that it is a black person on the news most of the time for shooting someone or for robbing someplace. Being from Chicago, that's pretty much all I see. But the fact that that is really the only kind of publicity that we get is just mind-blowing to me. That's not all we are. We're not all gangbangers, drug dealers, drug addicts. We're not all killers, deadbeat parents, people who rely on government aid. We're not all loud, ghetto, and ratchet, so why? Why? Is that the only side of us that gets shown? Why are those the only things that are seen of us? That's what I mean when I say that we are not even seen as people. Seen with little to no value. So again, I say, how do black people survive in this society? Maybe it's because we are strong and confident in ourselves. Maybe it's because we know that we are kings and queens, so really we could give a damn about what people say about us. Maybe it's because we prove society wrong when we become CEOs, doctors, lawyers. Maybe it's because no matter what happens, we overcome. So, yeah. It is hard being black in this society. But I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Make it stop. Please, just make it stop. I hear it every day. The laughter, the whispers, the parents reprimanding their children. I feel the stares watching me, judging every move I make. Can I just be treated like everyone else? I'm not some zoo animal on display. I'm not going to lay down and roll over, swing from a vine, or do anything Snapchat or Insta-worthy. I'm not some type of freak show for you to ponder at. I'm just me. Just me. When you're in a wheelchair, people don't look at you the way they look at others surrounding you. They look at you like you're weak and sickly with pity filling their eyes. That girl must have lived a traumatic life, and I feel so bad, and I'm sorry have become phrases I hear on the daily. It's funny though, because I don't live a traumatic life. On the contrary, I love my life, and I love every part of who I am. Handicap included. Yes, you heard that right. Even though I face some difficult challenges, I wouldn't ask for my life to be any different. My disability makes me unique, and that is something I cherish. Unfortunately, society disagrees. Society tells us we have to think, talk, act right, sing, dance, laugh, cough, etc., 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 the exact same way. Clearly, for a girl like me, that just isn't how it works. I was always told that college is a place where people are more accepting of people, especially at a place like Notre Dame. Boy, do I feel lied to. People here, they glare at me when I get in their way at the dining hall. They drunkenly break my wheelchair that they watch me carefully hide in the bushes at a party. They hide their eyes as we pass each other on our way to classes. They don't invite me to their dinners or to their study groups because my chair takes up too much space in small areas. They don't bother to get to know me because I don't even count, do I? They don't lift me for push-ups at football games because who would want to touch that? They ignore my sign of peace at church because even the mere idea of making contact with me might give off the impression that they actually care. Notre Dame is supposed to accept students based on academic intellect. However, I feel as though I have never been surrounded by so much ignorance in my entire life. I'm just a typical teenage girl who wants what most other girls my age want. Acceptance, friendship, love, romance, happiness, and above all else, respect. My disability doesn't define me. I still have purpose. I still matter. Give me a chance.
I don't think anything is as lonely as attending one of the most elite schools in the country while having no family to go home to during break. Coming to school as a first-generation college student is incredibly difficult to begin with. But after growing in and out foster care, my only family is the relationships I built right here at school. Too bad. No seems to know this all, because even though I share my story a few times, no one can relate or empathize with what it means to come from a different background. To me, homogeneous doesn't mean that your name is Katie or you're from Chicago. It means that everyone has the same experiences and living in ignorant bliss, unaware of the fear, accomplishment, excitement, misery, and potential of the girl from Florida that you wave hello to on the way to class.
When we were growing up, my sister and I would stand beside each other in the bathroom mirror. As I stood there, wondering how I could make my eyes the shade of purple of my favorite Barbie doll, my little sister would look up at me and ask, "When will I become a boy?" I've sighed deeply and told her once again that girls don't turn into boys. She was born a girl and would turn into a woman. I could see the sadness in her eyes as she stepped down from the stool, away from the mirror. She walked away disheartened. Then, in the years that followed, my sister came to terms with her biology. She refused to live up to society's standards. She wore pants and superhero t-shirts. She played in the dirt, rode a black BMX bicycle, and always wore tennis shoes. We had a word for that. She was a tomboy. Just after high school, she came out as lesbian. That explains it, we thought. She moved to California and married a woman. She seemed happy when I saw her, like she had come into her own skin. But I was busy. She was busy too. If only we had the time that childhood offered, the intimacy of the bathroom mirror we used to share. Maybe I had seen the sadness that was still in her eyes. She found herself more and more uncomfortable in social situations. She'd always been the life of the party, but now felt out of sorts with anyone but her family. Something wasn't right. Through counseling and reflection, my sister slowly discovered that what still wasn't right was her skin. Her body belied her spirit. She was a he, and would only feel comfortable and whole in acceptance of that truth. In high school, I discovered colored contacts. But by that time, I decided I didn't need purple eyes. My unique color, the grayish, bluish green that changed color with my mood, it was a part of me that I not only accepted, but appreciated. It was a part of me that I loved. I am comfortable in my skin. My sister didn't make the same decision, and is slowly beginning life as my brother. He is doing this so he can be comfortable in his too.
You're 15, and you think about kissing boys, but you're not gay. No, you swear you're not. But it takes 6 shots to kiss girls that reek of regret. You're 15. And you want to kiss boys. You're still not gay. But you don't even kiss girls anymore. Unless they force their mouth on yours. You're 15. And you kiss him. But only when you're drunk. And he wants the attention of a girl with blue eyes. Only when it doesn't mean anything. You're 16. And you want to do more than kiss him. You hate the word faggot. And your friends say it like it's too dirty for their own mouths. You're 16. You're in love with a boy, and you hate yourself. You kiss any girl that gives you a drink, and you think that makes you straight. You're 16. And you're in love with a boy. And he's not in love with you. But you both pretend he is. He tells you he's just a phase. You're 17. And you're in love with a boy you call your girlfriend. With a boy you've given a girl's name. With a boy you've kept your secret for 6 months. You're 17. And you're in love with a boy who's in love with someone else. And nobody asks why he left. Because nobody knew he was ever there.
Ma, you got a fat ass. Are you gonna do a nigga like that? Damn, I see how it is.
How it is? I'll tell you how it is. It is fucked up. Fucked up because you're out here calling me mom. And last I checked, I haven't birthed any children from this belly. And if I did, I promise you they wouldn't be so damn disrespectful.
it is you thinking that just because my hips are wider than most and my butt is a little rounder, is somehow an invitation to your factual, yet blatantly disrespectful comments that did nothing but inform me of something my mirror reminds me of every day. How it is you trying to shoot your shot at a female that would have otherwise given you a chance, up until the moment you opened that horrific mouth of yours. And spoke to me as if I wasn't deserving of the ample amount of respect a young woman of any caliber demands. What if I didn't have a fat ass? What if instead of trailing behind me, with your eyes glued to my behind, you tried to get in front of me to see that there's more to a woman than her ass says? What if you took note of my beautiful brown eyes, or my pearly white smile, or maybe you could even gather the courage to look beyond what I know is physically appealing, and shoot your shot at my mind-blowing intelligence, my sarcastic yet pragmatic humor, or the personality that makes up the woman that I am, which has taken me years to build and rebuild after taking men like you just seconds to tear down by making a small yet unwelcomed contemptuous comment, otherwise deemed a compliment by those who are too simple-minded to find it distasteful. Am I not getting through to you? Am I going too fast or digging too deep for your contemplation? You black men, or should I say boys, who are so quick to judge us brown-skinned women and speak hate to those of us who have an extra dose of melanin beneath our skin, saying, "Nah, man, I can't get with those black girls. You need to get you a Latina. They spicy." Or a white girl because they easy. Or an Asian chick because they got brains out of this world, if you know what I mean. Them black girls, they just too damn much. Too much? We are too much. So you're telling me the very same race of women who carried you for 9 months, popped you out of her lady parts and raised you, she's too much? The very same woman who bears the scars of toiled forced labor on her body for your breath. The same women holding signs with the blood-stained words, "Black Lives Matter," to fight for you who have been gunned down, shot down, murdered, and made invisible as though you could cover up black with a headline, a few big words, and a spotlight. The same women who consistently rip themselves into pieces just to keep you whole. The very woman God created from Adam's rib in the moment that two became one and one became invincible. We women, the ones who love you unconditionally, defend you even when you aren't worth defending, fight for you when the battle is already lost and shed tears, because we still see a king even when the rest of the world doesn't see you at all. And yet, here you are telling me that I'm too much. Disrespecting me as though it was a sport, taking jewels from my crown each time I hear, "Damn, Ma, you got a fat ass." All I need you to know is this. I am a queen, unapologetically. I am not perfect, but imperfection is my beauty. My attitude towards you depends on the way you treat me. I will continue to raise you up because you men are my father's brothers and husbands. I am a queen, unapologetically, and I will not let you take my crown. There is no force that can knock me. no amount of power that I cannot conquer. I am not your toy. I'm not created for your amusement or to be your slave or servant. I'm not here to fluff your ego and make you feel important. I will not sit behind you like the sun to the moon, dimming my light so that yours can shine for those who could give a damn about your success. I am your equal. If you want me, you must earn me. My mindset is worth more than my assets. And if that doesn't strike you as valid, then you are not deserving of the trophy that I am. So don't be offended by my Olivia Pope complex. Or when I walk with my head a little bit higher than you think I should. Because I know that my value is immeasurable. My worth indefinable. My beauty indescribable. And my fat ass for you, sir, is untouchable.
I have bought her necklaces, rings, books, flowers, chocolates, and even tickets to a musical. Well, not exactly a musical, unless a man with green paint singing to another man dressed as a donkey counts as a musical. Those tickets were my favorite gift. But her favorite was a robe. Not just any robe. This was a red Valentine's Day gift robe. I was at the department store picking out the gift when the attendant asked, "Is it for your grandma?" pointing to the robe. No, my girlfriend, I replied. Her eyes opened up real wide. "Are you sure?" She paused. "You don't want to see the lingerie section. It's right over here." She motioned to the wall. She must have thought I was completely confused, and with her feminine wisdom, she would put me back on track, towards the right robe. The robe any young woman would desire, should desire. What would she think? The attendant probably thought. If he gave her this robe, maybe next year he'll get me a nice filer for my bunions. I'm pretty sure I know what she wants. When I was making my way back to the checkout counter at Sears, the same sales assistant was talking hushedly but suppressed giggling. Or, that's what I heard. "You stuck with the cushy one, I see." Yup. Making my way back to the car, I thought about why she would have questioned my choice, why she would have laughed. It's not that I was upset, just confused. Her house was cold. It was a little odd to look from the salespeople. Who would want a silk robe? That does not sound very warm at all. You do know what South Bend winter is like, right? Anyways, she loved her warm, cushy robe. Not one silk robe reached lower than the upper thigh. They all had rhinestones down the back and along the collar, and could only have been as thin as a sheet of paper. But this robe had a thick neck warmer. Kind of like those Soviet-style tundra jackets. I think they wear them in Siberia. Or maybe it's more like a Transylvania vampire. Anyways, it's as thick as a winter jacket and comes down to her calves. It does, however, have a nice inner tie to show off her shapely hips. She never uses it. Who needs to be a seductress when you can be a comfy old granny? I'll tell you what, I'll take the old granny any day.
Black and blue. Black, blue. To your own self, be true. Old men telling me what to do, yet another one of my friends is slain. Because I'm still waiting for the coup that will take your power away from you. It feels impossible to stay sane when my very chain is within my very brain, when the fight that we fight hardly ever sees the light. I torment myself because that's what she did to me. My bruises keep me from being free. And the physical damage? Nothing. It's what's inside me. But no one seems to hear my plea because I am a he and she is a she.
Being a non-native speaker should count as another layer of racial categories.
Want to know what my favorite position is? Fetal. I bet you thought I was talking about sex, right? I wish. But I'm just a Catholic virgin not named Mary, with a high-sex son and a God who, let's be honest, probably needs to get laid. But that's not the type of positioning I'm talking about, being sexually illiterate and all. No. I'm very familiar with the fetal position, though. See, I still believe in God. I pray and cry out to Him to save me from what they tell me are my sins, for my salvation. In the fetal position is how I wait for His answer. It's perfect for those nights when the demons inside me, the monstrous part of my mind, starts screaming so loud that I can't think, can't sleep. The only thing I can do is wait until the voice, my other voice, gets too sore to continue. I find safety under the covers of my bed, curled up, naked, knees hugged closely to my breast. I remove myself from the world and hide my tears from eyes that do not see and ears that have never been listening. Who are you talking to? Nobody is listening. You're crazy, 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 crazy if you think someone cares. You're being so dramatic, honey. You're just craving attention, darling. Listen to me, sweetheart, and I will make you stronger. Listen, 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 listen to me! Do you hear me talking here? You are alone, and I am the only one here. Quiet, baby, just be quiet, baby. At first, it was as though they were someone else's thoughts. It was like being caught in a current, and every time I tried to surface, I got pulled under harder, tossed around until dizzy. Then, right before surrendering, I gasped for breath. Never much, but just enough to survive the next round. When you're 12 years old, you don't know how to ask for a lifeline. Can't articulate what you don't understand yourself. And I soon came to accept the suffering as my personal purgatory. I found solace in my isolation. My drug was my demon. Demon. That euphemism I knew my Catholic family would have used at my Catholic funeral, so they could comfort themselves in the idea that I wasn't in Catholic hell because good Catholics aren't suicidal. Nobody ever could understand my dependence on that part of myself that people talk about with hushed voices and subtle but definitive disapproval. But you loved me, loved me, loved me. You pulled out your hair and scratched through your face because you knew I was the only one who cared. I was the only one who knew how much you were hurting, how hard you felt the world. I knew what your parents and friends and teachers and priests did not, and you loved me for it. You screamed at the world like a baby, my baby, and only I heard you. I am you, and you hate me, and you hate you, but you also love me, and you don't love you. You hate you for loving me because I am constant. I am always here. You can count on me, always, to be here, always, waiting for your submission, always, embracing what you know but have not yet accepted. We are one, always. I used to wake up silently wailing from a dream in which I was heard to a reality in which I was not. It was always just a dream, and I always woke up in hell. Until last year, don't do it! I asked someone, they won't understand! If it was normal, they won't care! To think of how I can kill myself. You are weak, 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 a baby, my baby. Every second of my life, I am the only one here to honestly be so tired of living at 19. I am the only one who has ever been here that I can't wait to die. Hello? Thoughts? Are you there? David? Can you hear me? Friend? Where have you gone? The pills they gave me, they work. For the first time I can remember, there is no constant, steady, ever-present suicidal undercurrent to my thoughts. The scars on my arm are warrior's wounds, the proof of the battles I've fought, the price of the war everyone tells me I've won. So, what of my victor's spoils? I don't drink. Not even wine turns blood at Mass, because alcohol makes the pill ineffective. And I'm afraid of again ending up in the hospital at the hands of my own destructiveness and self-hatred. If I forget to take it, my mood spirals out of control, and I isolate the few friends I have made who try to care about the girl with the mental illness, who loves them. And I don't know what it means to be a good Catholic anymore, because God did not save me. God made me. Made my brain to be chemically imbalanced for 7 years of my life before I finally was saved by a little pill that scares my parents more than my depression. I'm still in a symbiotic relationship, but this one is FDA approved. My new daily devotion is popping a cap and dry swallowing my salvation. I think I'd like to find a new favorite position, but see, sex drive disappears when taking Zoloft.
Chemistry starts in 10 minutes, and I'm power walking confidently towards D-Bart. Head high, shoulders straight, gaze fixed in a bored stare. But around my neck is an invisible anchor. Snatches of conversation drift past me. I am so tired. I stayed up till 3 last night finishing that paper. How was your Friday? Oh, I heard the row house got busted. And he still hasn't responded to my Snapchat. A match strikes. Anger flares. Is that all that matters to you? I want to scream. Is that the worst possible struggle to you? The anchor presses heavier against my heart. I fight the urge to look down at it. It's a crush, as usual, to get through the door. My feet slow to a shuffle, bodies and backpacks press around me, but I feel completely alone. No one knows pain, suffering, death. If all farther from them than I am from home. But it's a lie. I catch a glimpse of a friend walking out of class. Her parents had a horrible divorce. One of my classmates bumps into me. He struggles with anorexia. Beep. I look at my phone and it's text from a homemate. I remember her tears as she described her best friend attempting suicide. More cheerful faces. He suffers from crippling self-doubt and loathing. More masks. She nearly flunked out last semester. She was so depressed. More anchors. I sit down in class. The anchor on my heart beckons to me. It would be so simple to simply reach around my neck and I snapped back to attention. Class had slipped by as I was staring into space. Everybody's packing up their books. I get up, smile tightly to my friends. They head toward the dining hall. My feet turn toward the basilica. The autumn leaves swirl in the chill wind around my feet. So many dead voices whispering to me, tugging me along. I reach for a thin cord around my neck, pull out a small metal object tied to a string. A name, initials, 2 dates, Semper Fidelis. I rub the raised metal letters. I tuck the anchor back away. Invisible.
If happiness was as easy as putting on a smile, I might as well be the happiest person alive. What shallow statement? I'm a shallow girl. When sunsets are pretty, I'll stop and take a picture. When the light hits my cheeks just right, I'll flip the camera to take a selfie. When my Starbucks drink looks really nice. I'll snap another pic. When I'm out with my friends, I'll bother someone nearby. Could you take a picture of that? I am accused of not living in the moment. I have a collection of things. The title, Things That Remind Me That Life is Worth Living. Verbatim. Ridiculously long, but just enough. In July, exactly a week before my 21st birthday, I added something new to the collection with nothing yet to follow. I have wanted to kill myself 100 times, but somehow I am still in love with life. Voltaire. I cried. It's a post on Tumblr with over 200,000 notes. So I so often hate that Tumblr in an effort to erase the stigma that glorifies depression, because let me tell you, there is nothing glamorous about wanting to be hit by a car. Lying in bed until 1 p.m. because I can't find a reason to get out of bed. Feeling so lonely that it physically hurts. So please, excuse me for not living in the moment, because I am trying to remember what I love about life. Because it hurts not to remember that the sun sets and another day comes. It hurts not to remember that I know what warmth feels like. It hurts not to remember that beautiful things just exist. It hurts not to remember that there are people in the world who make me forget what depression is. So I'm that shallow girl, smiling, because I'm reminding myself of the things that make life worth living.
We were friends. Sorry, we are friends. I think. But he crossed a line when he kissed me. We were lying on opposite sides of the bed, sharing for functional purposes. Until he shifted his body to the point where it was hairs away. His foot glided over mine, and within seconds, his torso was against my back. He whispered, "Don't tell anyone." I turned my head, and he kissed me. Slowly. Romantically. His hand caressed the seam just inside the bottom of my shirt. It escalated quickly, but it stopped just as fast when we mutually realized that something wasn't working. Still lying there, we pulled our pants up, rolled to our respective sides, and just like that, it was over. Now, he is straight. Or so I thought, until, he fucking kissed me. And now, I can't tell anyone. I couldn't help but feel my heart sink just a little bit the next day when I heard him call that chick over there hot. See, I never thought of him that way, but now, clearly, that situation has changed. Maybe I do like him. I don't know. All I know is that I can't talk about it. Why were my emotions played with just so you could try something new and get off? You took advantage of my bisexuality knowing I wouldn't oppose. And it hurts. I'd like to tell you how I feel. I'd like to know how you feel. I'd like to know why. Because truth is, straight guys have been playing the secret questioning card for decades, and it's bullshit. I want him to recognize that, to internalize it. The reality is that I matter too. So why don't I feel like it?
I'm an English major. I know. College of Arts and Sweaters, future waitress. I've heard all the jokes. From my own parents. But I love what I do. I get to spend time creating meaning out of text. It's a beautiful process. It starts sometimes with a single word. I remember the moment I fell in love with the word rainbow. I was reading Mandela's biography in its hopes of a rainbow nation, a post-racial society. Post-hate, post-discrimination, post all the isms you could think of. But the more I read, the reality of a nation he dreamed into being quickly turned into a lesson on fiction. There are lies that we tell to hide the ugly truth, the worst of our societies. I still love rainbows. One of my favorite books about rainbows that I have never read is Ntozake Shange's For Colored Girls Who Have Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough. I haven't read it because I'm a broke college student on a tight budget. I could have checked it out at the library, but they don't have it. That's nothing new. You see, being black and a reader means sometimes the books that are most important to you are never on the bookshelf, or in the bookstore, or even mentioned in a course description. And sir, if you looked at my course books for English, you would think only dead white men write. Where are the female voices? Where are the black queer voices? Where are the stories on North African fiction and Asian writers? Why are the perspectives of people of color always missing from our classes? Don't the stories of my people matter? I mean, this erasure is so bad that under English culture distribution it says British literature, American literature, other, what's a literal fuck? Other or minority literature? Every time I see that word on an official department document, it irks me. Writers of color are not just an other. They're essential voices in world literature. There's absolutely nothing minor or trivial about writers who look like me. I've stopped trying to find rainbows in between whitewashed pages of books written by people who can never understand my reality. But I hope that someday I'll open up my GPS on Inside ND and that ugly word, other, will be replaced by something more respectful, more colorful, something magically complex, something akin to rainbows.
The quintessential Notre Dame introduction begins as follows. Hi! Exclamation point. Hi! My name is
blank, and I live in blank, and I'm majoring in blank. Paired with a handshake. The Notre Dame intro is an easy way to gauge how much a person matters to you, and it operates on the assumption that your name, your dorm, and your major will reveal that you have at least one person, place, or thing in common with the person or persons you are meeting, which in turn maintains the status quo of the conversation on a purely superficial level. You will most likely never have to move past the safe harbor of discussions concerning North versus South or some other tired Notre Dame show. Besides, there are no real strangers at Notre Dame, because everyone is a domer. Right? How does it go again? We are ND! We are ND! It's easy to feel like you're drowning in all that golden blue. Flattened between the N and the D, like so much gray and lifeless mortar. Bombarded by the relentless tolling of bells, reminding you that you belong. You belong. You belong to us. Well, I never really felt a part of us. A part of you. Here's my Notre Dame introduction. Hi. My name is an inheritance. My only piece of a grandfather I have never met, who had a third grade education, who fought his whole life to convince his white neighbors to let him out from beneath their boot, and won, who only fathered 5 of his 10 children because the other 5 grew up while he was working himself to death. My name is a battlefield. My father said to me, Miko, you have to make them pronounce it right, because they won't do it on their own. I asked him, why did you give me this sword for a name? And he said, because we have been living on the edge of a blade since the U.S. invaded Mexico. Because you will have to work twice as hard as your white peers just to get noticed. Because even now, there are people with names like yours dying at the great wound at the border. I've never lived in a dorm, only slept in one. Sleep like playing dead because it was safer to be a corpse than to be brown. To be queer. To be poor. To be feminine. To be myself. I live in a home that I have built my soul. The red chilies hanging in the kitchen, frijoles and arroz on the stove. Enough blankets for all my friends to burrow under, enough for just one to cry herself to sleep in. Gender is to take off its shoes when it comes into my house. We'll speak only when spoken to. We'll leave when it has overstayed its welcome. I live in a home where hate is wiped from every surface. Where my friends and I spring clean our ignorance together. Where the patriarch is taped to dartboard that we set on fire and dance naked around. My home is a sanctuary. My home is the mouth of the moon. My home has no interest in performative masculinity and will never make you serenade someone. I'm double majoring in why the hell is racism still a thing? And increased media representation with a minor in fuck the gender binary. My favorite class is how many ways will you be made an other today? I heard it's an easy A for people like me. Our capstone project is to formulate a theory of our otherness. This is mine. The 10 Commandments of the other. Number 1, the Lord your God is white. He is cisgender, and he is in a heterosexual relationship with humanity. Number 2, the Lord your God created humanity in his image. So what the hell does that make you? Number 3, the name of the Lord your God will be a millstone around your neck, the whip at your back, the boot on your throat. Number 4, keep holy the Lord's day. Lock your doors, get under your bed, they are coming for you. Number 5, honor the gender binary, but remember to honor men the most. Number 6, thou shalt be killed. Number 7, thou shalt be the target of sexual violence. Number 8, thou shalt have your culture, your livelihood, and your humanity stolen from you. Number 9, thou shalt bear the lies whiteness tells you with a smile. Number 10, thou shalt always live beneath the shadow of a prison cell. Do you feel like you know me now? Do I matter to you? This is the part where we shake hands. Nice to meet you.